Welcome to lesson 5, part B or part 2. Now we're going to talk about, we learned from the metronome that there's a timing element to music. And a lot of that timing element is related to strumming. So on guitar, I want to teach you some strumming techniques. And as we move along in our lessons, we'll learn new strums and different strums. And so I've kind of zoomed in on the strumming part of my guitar. So the first strum I want to teach you is all down strums. So if we were using 4/4 timing and we were doing one strum per beat, and we were just to strum the guitar, okay? So your pick is in your hand like this. You kind of have your finger curled. It's got a little bit of wiggle room. It's not so tight that you can't move it. And we're not gonna chord or press down on the strings. I just want you to get some rhythm first. So let's just do downstrokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Notice how I'm kind of using my elbow a little bit. My wrist is kind of free. I'm letting the pick glide over the strings, but it's not individual strings ringing out. It's one stroke. So if I were strumming in 4/4 timing and there was one stroke or one strum per beat, this is what it would be like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Notice when I go down, it's the number 1, and then I come back up on and. That's really important that you're coming back up each strum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So if we were to take our chord, the E chord, now remember, if you put your middle finger here, your ring finger here, and your first finger here, that's the E major chord. We talked a little bit about E major in our last video. Don't worry if you didn't understand major, third, minor third. We're going to learn about all that, okay? So, but if we were just strumming this E major chord with down strums, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's your down strum. So that's one kind of strumming pattern. The second one I want to teach you is called down up. It's down up, and you're just going down, and on the second one you're coming up. 1 and 2. And an important thing to note is when you go down, you can hit all the strings. It's a little harder on the upstroke. See how my pick's hitting it? So if you just hit a few strings, that's okay. In fact, that's probably desirable. So let's play that same E chord with a down up stroke. Slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You want to count like this. And one secret that a lot of guitarists use is tap their foot. They tap their foot on the downstroke, 1, and lift it up on the upstroke, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's just a nice way to keep timing. So again, that E major chord with just downstrokes, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Notice that on my way up, I didn't hit the strings on just downstrokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but I still came up. The only difference between that and down up is on the way up, you hit the strings. So this is down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And on a down up strumming pattern, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And we're going to learn a lot of different patterns. One we'll learn down the road is kind of a rock pattern. It's down, down, up. And there's different ones we'll learn. I'll show you on music how to read those strokes as well. But I want to teach you a second chord so we can do like we promised, and you'll play your very first song. It'll be a 2-chord song. So I want to teach you the second chord. So we learned this E major chord, right? So we had our middle finger on the second string, second fret. Third finger on the second string, second fret. First finger on the third string, first fret. That's an E. Remember we said when we practice, we ring out every note just to hear it, just to make sure we're not muffling or doing that. Now, I'm going to teach you another chord. It's the same position. You just move your fingers down one string. So this is an E. this is an A minor. Now in the E, you hit the top string, all 6 strings. On the A minor, let's just take these 2 fingers, down 1 string. So this one is on the 4th string from the bottom. We always count from 1 up. 4th string from the bottom. I would put my middle finger there on the 2nd fret. Ring finger on the 3rd string from the bottom, same fret. And then the 1st finger on the 2nd string from the bottom. Remember, we're curling at this 1st knuckle. Why? Because we want to see how those lines are on my fingertips. That's where you want to note the chords, on your fingertips. Okay? So we went from E to A minor. But we didn't hit the top string on the A minor, just the 2nd string. And let me tell you why. That's the A string. A. And this is the E string. So our song, our first song, is going to be 4 beats on the E. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then go down, 4 beats on the A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And back to E. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now here's what that's going to do for you. It's going to help you learn to change chords, because this is one thing that frustrates guitar players in the beginning. But I'm going to help you with that. When you take that E off, try to keep your fingers kind of in the same position. Try not to, and I'll talk more about this in changing chords. I have a lesson just for changing chords, okay? But try not to do one finger at a time. Try to pick those fingers off the neck, kind of in that shape, in that E shape, and then just go down 1 string. Don't do it that fast, but do it slow. Pick them up, then only starting on the A string. Pick them up. So now you know 3 chords, right? You know the E minor, which we learned in the first one, and you can use these 2 fingers or these 2 fingers. I tend to use these 2 because when I'm making other chords, it's easier, but that's that E minor. This is the E. And then go down 1 string on every finger, and that's the A minor. And you pluck from the A string, not the top one, but the next one, and that's the A minor. So here's what you need to practice on your first song, all right? It's a 2-chord song. It goes from E major to A minor as an apple. And you just want to practice very slowly. Here's what I would set. I would set my metronome on 40 beats per minute, okay? And I would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and E. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Very slowly. If 40 beats is too fast, that's okay. Go to 30. It doesn't matter. You go slow until you can change those chords. If you practice for a week on these 2 chords, you will have them down. And you'll be amazed. You'll practice them 4 or 5 times, 10 times, 50 times in a day. The next day, you'll go to sleep, wake up the next day, and all of a sudden, it feels like you've got it better. Repetition is going to be your friend. So if every day you just spend a few minutes practicing those chords, you will get very good. Now, so that's the downstrokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and A minor and 3 and 4. Now, let's practice the down up, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you want to practice that, the 4 downstrokes, and then the down up strokes for E and A minor. All right, don't stop. In lesson 6, I'm going to teach you a chord chart, so you can learn any chord there is, play any song there is, and be able to read that chord chart. So don't give up. Lesson 6, learn how to read a chord chart.